Well, hello and welcome everybody to the new health conversation for the sensors. I want to assure you again that we stay within the community guidelines, and here's why. We're researchers. The only thing we ever present to our audience is backed by peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. We don't make things up. We don't make opinions. We don't give any claims. So we've written 4 best-selling books of some of the biggest medical doctors in the world. We're researchers, and we only provide information that's available to the general public in the public domain. So nothing is hidden. We don't sell anything. There's no products on the website to sell. So let's get that out of the way. Well, hello. Wow, a lot of people jumping on. Nancy, user 314, Buddy, Michelle, Sandra, Jock Fan. Wow, lots of people jumping on. So everybody, I want you to just take a look at that real quick. She did not have to restrict her calories, and she lost 60 pounds. The part I didn't tell you, she actually lost it in 3 months. So she lost 60 pounds in 3 months. First, I'd like anybody to comment, is it the same woman, or are we tricking you? Are we lying to you? Is it Photoshopped? Is it AI? I'd love anybody to put in the chat what you think. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. That's with no exercise. All the before and afters I'm showing you are backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. I have them right here in my hand. Also, we provide you with a free medical website, and we provide you with free coaching. Did you hear what I said? We give you free coaching. There's no charge for coaching, not just the initial consultation, but all the way through. And the website is designed to give you the medical proof. But it's got a lot more than that. There's an explanation of exactly in more detail what they did on a daily basis. There are before and afters, the actual medical studies. It's pretty, it's designed for you to allow your comfort level or your skepticism to come down based on real medical studies. So a lot of people are joining us now. Lysig, Nikki, Hostages 57. I think you were on yesterday. That's a pretty unusual handle, but it's all good. Now, so let's go and just look at a couple more people. Now, I know you're going to think this is crazy, but this is really pretty typical. 5 pounds a week on this is nothing. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. It had nothing to do with exercise. But it was invented or discovered, invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for 40 years. They've done 100 studies, thousands of people, and they finally they cracked the code on obesity and weight. And when you hear what they did, it's probably going to shock you. It had nothing to do with counting calories, 0 to do with counting calories. You see, the reason that diets fail, in case you didn't know, and this is now major studies, I've got them here from Harvard Medical School, from Medicare now, from the New England Journal of Medicine, showing you counting calories is dead over, diets don't work long term. That's the experts saying that. That's not me. It's not my opinion. We don't give you opinions. We don't make claims. All we do is share with you real medical proof. Would it shock you to know that all the studies now are saying that 2/3 of you, I don't care what diet you chose, are going to weigh more than when you started in the long run? Isn't that awful? Isn't that awful? Who's telling you this? Nobody. You're following all these influencers that are giving you opinions with no facts. This took 40 years for them to figure it out. Now let me explain to you what she did and how she did it. Wow, Area Man, user 235, Uba King, Oko3. Let's see, lots of people joining us. And again, if we can get some taps on the screen, get some likes. Let's get a lot of likes going. The last one I did today, I had, I think, 11 or 12,000 likes. So let's get going. People really, it's not about me. None of this is my research. We're the researchers of the researchers. And we bring you the medical proof that's in the public domain, but you don't have to go and search it out. We're bringing it to you. So let's get to the brass tacks. Everybody wants to know, get on with, tell us what it is. Tell us, how did she lose 5 pounds a week on average? But let me show you 4 other quick pictures just so you can see the overall. This is Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. Is that the same woman? Look at her body, look at her waist, look at her legs, look at how much she shrank. And that's with no exercise allowed. So 35 pounds in 37 days. Now, the last picture I want to show you here is an older gentleman. Wait till you see this, everybody. He lost 40 pounds. That's 10 pounds a week, 52.5 inches in 30 days with no exercise. Look at his stomach. That's with no exercise. But again, the most impressive thing, look at his lab work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124 in 30 days, not 30 weeks. This is changing people's lives. This is not some sales gimmick. This is not an infomercial. This is a medical podcast to explain to you how it's possible for someone to lose that kind of weight at his age with no exercise. But let's go back to this is about the average. How many of you would give anything to lose 5 pounds a week? We had a lady on this morning. She's 23, oh, no, I'm sorry. She's 4 days in. She's down 12 pounds in 4 days. You heard me, 12 pounds in 4 days. Now, before you go, oh my God, it's unhealthy, it's unsafe. No, stop. We're going to explain to you why this is going to change so many lives. So first of all, the biggest lie we've all been told is calories in, calories out. Because number one, I'd love for anybody to put in the chat the definition of a calorie. Does anybody know what a calorie is? Why are you counting calories if you don't even know what it is? I didn't know what it was 23 years ago. The actual medical definition of what a calorie is. So what happens on all these diets, they're having you count calories. Well, guess who can't count calories, everyone? Your body. Your body does not run on calories. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories. You know what you're hungry for? The most important thing to all of us is a minimum amount of what? Nutrition. When you go on a diet, what are you doing? You're lowering the amount of food you're consuming. What else are you lowering? Nutrition. Well, that triggers the starvation alarm in your brain. Your brain stops accessing the fuel in your fat cells because that's what we're supposed to work on. So now that becomes our backup. And so how does the body get energy to run all your organs? From your muscles. And as your body begins to break those muscles down, you lose weight initially in all these diets. But once the brain figures out there's not enough fuel to go, it starts to slow down your metabolism and it slows down your immune system. Do you understand you're making yourself sick? You're making yourself unhealthy by going on these diets. Woo, this is going to cause a firestorm. I always do. I'm very controversial. But nothing I'm sharing with you is my opinion. Not one thing I'm sharing with you is my opinion. Unless I did the research, which I did. I discovered a medical syndrome, and I have written 4 best-selling books, some of the top medical doctors in the world. But what we're dealing with here is the research of the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. So how did she do it? Well, the researchers figured it out. They said instead of having anything to do with calories, nothing to do with calories, we need to figure out, can we give you less food and find foods? They were going to find the foods with more nutrition. Okay? How did they do it? Well, they put together a grocery list. So if you took what you spent last month on groceries, you'd only spend 30% of it this month based on what these researchers put together. They give you a list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie counts, which don't mean anything to you when you go to the store, they give you serving sizes. So the amount of food you're buying from the store is going to be less than a third of what you bought last month, but it has way more nutrition because they picked those food groups from proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. Okay? The other 70%, this is the most critical part. The researchers don't sell anything. They don't have a company. They're scientists. We don't sell you anything. But they found other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, and they found foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food, if that makes sense. And then, now they have the ingredients, everybody. Okay, now what? Okay, now completely new ways of eating based on these new models of food, based on nutrition, not on serving sizes, right? Or, sorry, not on calories. So 5 days a week, you, everybody, you'd eat 4 times a day. Breakfast would be these exotic foods around the world. That's meal number 1. Meal number 2, lunch, only from the grocery store list of foods. Dinner with your family, meal number 3, again from the grocery store. And a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, you'd be eating 4 times a day. Now, 2 days a week, and that's, by the way, that has a name, it's called protein pacing. And we'll explain to you the pacing part, why this is one of the most critical parts of this whole thing. Then 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent, listen to me, intermittent nutritional, hear the word nutritional, fasting. What? Yeah, not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods, but this time she got to eat 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half. Now, the pacing is critical. So what the researchers figured out through their research was If we dumped all of this, like for example, if you had one meal a day, one of the most horrible things you can ever do, because the body can't process it properly. It's very inefficient. So when you take nutrition and spread it out, that's the most efficient way for it to work. And look at the results. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. Do you think this works, everybody? I mean, look at her stomach. That's not photoshopped. No one was allowed to exercise. None of the before and afters I showed you. Nobody was allowed to exercise. Now, it sounds incredible that it would be this simple, that you could do it with something, but if your body only runs on nutrition. So it makes sense. When you're using even organic food, the best organic food, because people say, all you have to do is get Whole Foods, and no, you don't, because in North America, our food's becoming more and more nutritionally bankrupt. Cornell University did a study on spinach, just to prove this to you. They measured the iron levels in spinach from 1953 to 2000. They say that those iron levels have decreased for something like, 2020, sorry, in 2020, that they've decreased something like 4,300%. So a bowl of spinach in 1953, today, you'd have to eat 20 to 30 bowls of spinach, if you can believe that. Do you wonder why you're never quite full, no matter how much you eat? Do you think you're craving calories? No. You're craving nutrition. And all these studies, and I'm going to share some with you in just a moment, they're just saying, they're screaming, stop counting calories. But you're all going to do it. Most of you aren't even, look, we're providing a free website for all of you right there above her head in blue, the New Health Conversation. That's our movement. It's a movement, but it's our website. What's on that website? Only the medical proof. If you go to the website, what happens? We won't contact you. There's no way. That website has got so much information. The idea is it will spur your curiosity to then get a free coach. The coaching's free. The only thing we ask, if you schedule an appointment with a coach, and they reach out to you, because they'll call you, they'll text you, they'll email you, at least answer them. We've got about 50% of the people that the coaches are reaching out to them, and no one ever gets back to them. We're stressing out because we only have so many coaches to coach all these people. So they don't have time to call you back 2 or 3 times. If you're not interested, don't sign up to get a free coach. It's free the whole time. It's not just the initial consultation. It's all the way through to get you to the most important part of this. You know what that is? Maintenance. That picture of her is 8 years old. She's the daughter of a friend of mine. She's kept the weight off now for 8 years. Some of these studies were started in 2012, 13 years ago. They've monitored the people. They've kept their weight off for 13 years. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but somebody has to tell you the truth. The truth is 2/3 of you, whatever diet you pick, you're going to end up weighing more than when you started. It's like you'd be better off not doing the diet in the first place. Does this make sense to everybody? Yes, Ahmad, but there's no spaces. It's the New Health Conversation. Do you see it right there above her name? No spaces. So that's my TikTok. Ahmad, that's my TikTok account. That's great. But if you want to get to the website, it's the New Health Conversation there in blue. Ahmad, do you see that? Stephanie Brown and Charlene and Carol Stewart and lots of people on here. Well, we got 1,500 likes, okay? So everybody keep going if you can. Keep tapping on the screen. So who else would like to ask me a question? Or would you like me to share with you now the medical evidence showing you that counting calories is completely, it's bad. Listen to this. This is Harvard Medical School about counting calories. Title of the study, Stop Counting Calories. Here's what they said. This is Harvard Medical School. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. They're talking about calories in, calories out. They go on to say the idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. Fatima, Stanford's obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did, and they don't have anything to do with Harvard Medical School. So that's number one. Now let's go to another big study, the title. Remember, everyone, none of this is my opinion. And I'm not trying to scare you to death. I'm trying to scare you to life and say, why are you wasting your time in these foolish diets, counting calories, and following all these influences that don't have one shred of medical evidence? You're following them on what? On their personalities? because they don't have any medical facts that I've ever seen. So let's read from another big study, why you shouldn't count calories. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. Our researchers found that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people that try to count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. So you're going on a diet to gain weight? Do you think I'm making this stuff up, everybody? You think that's what I'm doing? Why would I do that? That would be idiotic. You can go to that website. You can see, how did she lose 5 pounds? That's kind of like women lose a whole dress size in this in a week. No one is allowed to exercise. How many of you would be excited to lose 5 pounds a week? Seriously, put it in the chat for me. Now let's go to another big study. This time, Medicare. Okay? Listen to the title of their study. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. That's Medicare saying that, okay? They went on to say, our researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. You're all being misled. These huge studies now are saying they were wrong. Counting calories is dead, over, finished. No, no, no. We're getting worse. In 1964, about 15% of the population was overweight or obese. They're projecting now by 2024, 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. That's more than a fivefold, 500% increase in that time period. Go to the beach now. You're all on vacation. You're going to go to the beach. Look at America. This is terrible. What's happening to us? Why? Because we have the wrong solution. It's not counting calories. Has nothing. It's not diet and exercise. It's not count your carbs and whatever they're talking about. It doesn't work. How much longer do we continue to go? It's like driving down 100 miles an hour. There's a brick wall. You're going to run right into it. Hit the brakes before you hit the wall. They just said, study after study, 2/3 of you are going to end up weighing more than when you started. Look at her, 21 pounds, 38 inches a month. How many of you would be excited? What is the solution? Can you get to the point? Aaron Curry, you missed me explaining it, correct? I'm going to explain it now. So what they did, Aaron, was this is 40 years of research, the top weight loss researchers in the world recognize. And they said the problem with any diet was they missed the point. The point is the body has a minimum amount, not of calories, of nutrition that it needs. So the researchers said basically what happens on a diet when you do the medical analysis, when you lower the amount of food and lower the amount of nutrition, the brain, which relies on regulating the nutrition in the body, not calories, slows down your metabolism and your immune system. So although people lose weight initially on all these diets, it goes through a trickle, then it plateaus, then they come off and they gain everything back. So the simple or complicated solution was, could the researchers come up with a new program to give people less food? They'd done 100 studies over 40 years, thousands of people on every diet out there. But this was a new approach. They were going to concentrate on finding foods with large amounts of nutrition and small quantities of food. Got it so far? Okay, so 30% of the food that you would buy from whatever you spent last month, you're only going to need 30% of it this month. And the researchers put together proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that they picked. And instead of giving you calorie counts, they give you serving sizes. So that's 30% of the food you consume in a month. Now, the other key was, and the researchers don't have there's no products here. This is food. There's no products. They don't have a company. They don't sell anything. We don't sell anything. So 30% you're buying from the grocery store. The other 70% comes from exotic foods from around the world that these researchers had spent 20 years going to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. In some of the areas, some of the nutrients are what people are eating to be over 100 years old, and they don't get sick. That's kind of interesting to me. Okay, so now they had the ingredients, but then they needed a plan. They needed a process. And they invented 2 new ways of consuming food based on these foods. They couldn't do it with regular food because they tried it. It never worked. So 5 days a week, she would have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods around the world. That's your breakfast. lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. So you start your day with the exotic foods, you end your day 5 days a week. That's called protein pacing. And I'll explain that to you in just a moment. And 2 days a week, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she ate 8 times a day. She was literally eating every hour and a half. So the pacing part of this is critical. The research has proved that the most efficient way to do it was to give body the nutrition, but spread it out over 10 or 12 hours. So the body was constantly being nourished. That's the term they use, nourished. Well, look at the results, everybody. How many of you have ever lost 5 pounds a week? 21, I mean, with no exercise. Nobody was allowed to exercise. And then for the men, look at this. An elderly, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. But look at his blood work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124. This makes all diets obsolete. I mean, look at my friend's daughter. Everyone, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her body. Where's all the loose skin, everybody? That's with no exercise. Now, what we invite all of you to do, we invite you, we're not, because see above her head in blue there, the New Health Conversation? That's the free medical website. It has tremendous amounts of information, including an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. And you'll notice right above the blue, it says free coaching. We coach you for free the whole time. There's no gimmicks, no tricks. There's no charge for coaching. Now, the only thing we ask, a lot of people sign up for coaching and the coaches reach out to them. They call them, they text them, whatever. But you get to choose if you want to coach. So don't sign up if you're not going to, because the coaches, they're very diligent. They'll maybe try you 2 or 3 times. We're so busy coaching people. If you're serious about it, then sign up for the coach. If you're not serious about it, don't sign up for a free consult. It's free. My gosh, it's free. Why wouldn't you do it? I don't know. I don't understand why you'd go to the trouble to go to a website and sign up for a free consultation and then not respond back to the coaches. That's what the coaches are telling me. I'm just sharing with all of you what's going on. I can't keep track of all the people that we're having that are doing this because it's a huge number. So again, can we get some more taps on that screen? It's we have 1,700 so far. Now, the other thing that I want to show everybody is that this is a younger man. Look at this, everybody. 45.3 pounds, 60 inches. Again, look at his lab work. His A1C from 7.9 to 6.2. But look at his bad cholesterol. Went from 120 to 59. This is not a diet, everybody. This is a quality of life, a quality of health system. It's a quality of health system. The results that they saw on this thing, I mean, they measured, along with blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides. I'll tell you 2 other things that were astonishing. In a month's time, people's hunger went down 41%. But here was the big one, never measured before. I mean, never proven before. Inflammation, which in case you all didn't know is the underlying cause of every disease out there, according to the medical world. It came down in a month 25%. No diet's ever produced anything even similar to that. This is changing people's lives. But the other big thing that you probably are unaware of is this new medical syndrome called TDOS. The T is for toxicity, toxins. The D is for nutritional deficiency, overweight, and stress. Oh, it's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Oh, Peter Greenlaw, that's me. I did discover it. This is a registered trademark U.S. patent office. What does it mean in English? It means that we're drinking, we're eating, we're breathing chemicals, whether you know it or not. Go look at the big study. You can Google it from 5 weeks ago. They're now finding microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. What else do they find in our body? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon and flame retardants, all the chemicals in our world we're drinking, breathing, eating. And when they enter the body, what does the body do? First present them to the liver. Our livers are so overwhelmed now they estimate 35% of you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease called NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And there are no symptoms until it's almost too late. So the body, to protect us, takes that chemical and stuffs it in the visceral fat. That's why you see your stomach on day 1. Does everybody see it protruding out? And then look at it on day 30. Well, the researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was removing chemicals from the body. That's the main reason to do it. The weight loss is like, we almost joke and say, well, that's a throw it. But I mean, obviously, all of you would be very excited about losing 5 pounds a week. But why are you losing it? And why is it safe? And why is this unique? Those are all the things I went over. But I don't even want you to listen to me. I'm saying go to the website, The New Health Conversation, and listen to the interview podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. And he'll explain to you why the top researchers, will never recommend any diet ever again. Because of this. They said it would be unethical. Why would we put people on diets that would take them 8 weeks to become unhealthy, where they could lose that kind of weight in a week or faster? I mean, I understand it's too good to be true, and I understand most of you are skeptical. But again, hold on, 60 pounds in 3 months? And then we're just now on the cover, June 9th, in Women's World magazine, the #1 magazine for women in the world. Look at the title, Over 50 Protein Miracle. I coached both of those women. The daughter is 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. And this other gal beat her by a little bit. But the mom's 80 years old. She lost 90 pounds in about 9 months, and they both kept it off for 2.5 years. Do you think you get on the cover of Women's World if this was some kind of a scam? No way. And then they wrote a big article on it inside, 2 full pages. Let me show that to all of you here. Here it is. Look at this, everyone. Whoops, sorry. Look what they're calling it. New Protein Miracle Diet. It's not even a diet, but that's what they called it. Since they wrote the article, I'm happy. I didn't invent this. These other researchers did. But we're making it possible for you to do it. Again, you have a free medical website to go to, and then you can get a free coach. We don't make you have a coach and then we show you the evidence. No, we do the reverse. We show you the evidence. Then you should want to get a coach. But don't sign up for a coach and then ignore them. They want to try and help you. They've all done it themselves. They've all coached a lot of people. Because this isn't as simple as like, oh, here's a food list. And no. It's more complicated than that. But they're also going to cheer you on and answer any other questions that maybe you can't, weren't answered on the website itself, right? So Mummy Good, missed the 80s, user 192, looks like she changed her ethnicity. No, she didn't, no, not at all. Earth Woman, it's the daughter of a friend of mine. You really think I'm going to Photoshop it? No, it's the same woman. I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but there's look at this one. 200 pounds in less than a year. Wait a minute, where's the loose skin? Doesn't have any. If you go to the website, you're going to see people that lost 100 pounds with no loose skin, men and women. I understand you're all like really skeptical. I get it. But my goodness, do you believe in science? The medical proof is there. And these studies are in the public domain. As a matter of fact, there's a link for you to actually go and see the studies on the website. I'm going to show you the website right now, everybody. There's the website. Nothing to buy. #1 is the podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist. #3, the actual medical studies. See, we don't have to hide anything. We don't have to make anything up. And then #4 is, again, before and after pictures that you'll definitely think we photoshopped some of those. But okay, so let's say you don't know about this. Let's say you don't know. So what diet would any of you go on that you think you're going to lose weight and keep it off long term? Hello, Lenore. Hello, YH. Hello, Stealth Woman. Let's see, who else has come on here? B joined, JT joined, Cindy, I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. I believe you. You are so passionate about this. Well, yeah. Can I explain to you all why I'm so passionate about it? See, my mother, who I loved very much, was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And I loved her, and I went through fat shaming. She'd come home crying. We'd be at the superstore at the supermarket, and kids would be whispering about her. So 24 years ago, or a little more than 24 years ago, she called me up one day and said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. I said, Mom, what's that? She said, I would give anything to spend one day, 24 hours thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's a great goal. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mother dieted herself to death. I hate diets. I'd see her go to Weight Watchers. She'd lose 4 ounces, and they'd give her a gold star, and she'd come home. We'd all be happy because at least she's losing weight. She did about every diet there was. I couldn't help my mom because this wasn't even invented. But I can help some of you. You wonder why I'm so passionate? That's a big, big part of it. Because I know in my heart that we really could help you. But you need to help yourselves first. You need to have enough courage to say, wait a minute, I'm willing to go take a look at the medical proof. We're giving you the medical proof right there for free. We will not contact you. I swear on my kids' lives and my grandkids' lives, we will absolutely not contact you if you go. You can see it right there above her head in blue, the new health conversation. The only thing there is the medical proof. What's holding you back? I'd love for anybody to put it in the chat if you would do that. Do you understand? You could change your whole life in a few days. We had a lady on this morning. Listen to this. 4 days into it, day 5 this morning. She lost 12 pounds in 4 days. You think she's excited? I'm sure, like when I show you Kristen, this is not anything out of the ordinary. This is pretty normal. 5 pounds a week. How many of you be excited about that? 5 pounds a week, not a pound a week like you're all used to. Counting those stupid calories in and out. Woo! Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time restriction, zone, corners. No. Aren't you just overwhelmed with all these diets? Go to Barnes and Noble. None of them work, everybody. I mean, when we're talking about, here's another big study. Listen to the title of this one. The science behind why diets don't work. Our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies on calories in, calories out, and showed that those diets actually cause weight gain. The more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does this calorie in, calorie out dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. Give up the calories. What are you doing? You're wasting your time because 2/3 you're going to end up more. I know people get mad at me because I get so passionate and fired up. I'm fired up for you. I couldn't do it for my mom. You know what I would have given to have been able to have this? I mean, if she could have lost in a week what she'd lost in a couple months, at least she would have been so happy. She'd be excited about 4 ounces in a week, not 5 pounds in a week. I saw what it did to her. She dieted herself to death, for lack of a better term. And then it was more medication. It was water pills and beta blockers and high blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication and on and on and on and on. I mean, this is insanity what we're doing. It's just completely it's over the moon, crazy, nuts, cuckoo. Snickered, Rachel Green, Mombi, SLB, Sempri, and my Stictical, I'm having trouble pronouncing it. Okay, so there's a lot of new people now. Let's get to the point and explain to you, okay, how did she do it? So first, let's talk about why diets don't work. It's really pretty simple. If you're counting calories, you're completely wasting your time. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. So this whole nonsense about calories in, calories out has been completely debunked by major studies from Harvard Medical School, from Medicare, from the New England Journal of Medicine, on and on and on, okay? The researchers who created this had done 40 years of study. It's 100 studies, thousands of people, every diet out there, and here was the outcome. Every person lost weight initially on whatever diet they studied, but 2/3 gained more weight than they lost. And here was the reason. See, your body works, believe it or not, on one simple principle. A minimum amount of nutrition in order for the brain to be comfortable. There's enough fuel to run all of your organs, not just your brain, but your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and your pancreas, etc. You got it? The body runs on nutrition. It doesn't run on calories. So what the researchers, pretty obvious. When you go on a diet, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming, but what else are you lowering? Nutrition. When the brain figures out there isn't enough nutrition, fuel to run all the organs, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, shuts down accessing the fuel in your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel. We've got the proof. 25 to 40% of what you're losing on any of these diets is your lean muscle mass. Not up for debate. That's what's going on, right? So the researchers said, wait a minute, could we reduce the amount of food people consume, but find foods with large amounts of nutrition and smaller quantities? It's exactly what they set out to do. So first they put together a food list that you would take to the grocery store. But whatever you spent on groceries last month, this month, you're going to spend 30% or less on food from the grocery store in a list they're going to give you of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. And instead, like I said, no calorie counting, just on serving size. Everybody got that? But that was 30% of what she was going to take and what you would take. The other 70% you would buy directly from the suppliers, these other researchers who'd gone around the world for 20 years to places like Russia and Mongolia and Tibet and South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. Does everybody get that? So it's not about the quantity anymore. It's about the nutritional density of the foods that these researchers picked out. Not me. It's not my protocol. Then, now that they had these new food groups, they could do two things they'd never done before. Because as they said, even with organic food, they couldn't pull this off. So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, meal number 1. Meal number 2 was lunch. Only the food list from the grocery store that you would get. Meal number 3, dinner with your family. Again, from the grocery store. And a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. So you start your day with an exotic meal, you end with an exotic meal. That's 5 days a week. That's called protein pacing. Notice the word pacing, and I'll come back to that in a moment. So 2 days out of 7, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. On those days, no food. Wait a minute, I got to clarify. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. It was nutritional fasting. It was fasting with nutrition. A totally new concept, obviously, right? So 2 days a week, they let her have these foods, only these foods, the exotic foods around the world. But this time she ate 8 times a day. So literally she was eating about every hour and a half. You do the same thing. Now let's talk about the pacing. What the researchers figured out, the most efficient way for us to consume, nourish our bodies, is to spread the nutrition out over a longer period of time. So you didn't have too much and you never had too little. The pacing was important. They actually put something together that all their patients in the studies they gave. It's called the Blueprint Success. You'd get the same thing. Each one of these yellows here is a video explanation from the researchers who don't sell anything. They have no motive here other than to promote what they invented, because now they're credited with cracking the code on obesity and weight loss. They're getting calls from the top obesity experts in the world saying, you realize you've made every single diet obsolete. Even the researchers that have looked at it have said, this is, even though I'm looking at the research, it's like unbelievable what happened to people. Because you know the old adage, maybe you're going to lose a pound a week. If you lose more than that, it's unhealthy on a diet. She averaged 5 pounds a week. And then you look at someone like Curtis, he averaged 10 pounds a week. 10 pounds a week, an older guy. There's nothing like this on the planet, everybody. But the key, you know what the key to this whole thing is? Maintenance. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. That's what you should be excited about. That's what you should be focusing on. Am I making sense? Does this make sense to everybody? Do you understand what we're talking about here? So Ezekiel and Princess Debbie and One Edit and User 302 and Phoebes and Audra, lots of you. We're only at 1,800. Can we tap a little more? Because I need to, I got to close this down in a few minutes. I got to go somewhere, this live. But I'd love, who else would like to ask me a question? Can we get some more taps on that screen to get at least over 2,000 likes, okay? So who else would like to ask me a question? Would anybody, did I not lay out exactly what she did, how she did it? But again, everybody, you get to go to the website for free and see even much more detailed medical proof, and then get a coach. All we ask, don't sign up for a coach if you're not gonna, don't do that. They're so busy. They're very diligent because they're gonna be your coach the whole time through, not just in the beginning. There's no charge for coaching at all. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? You've never done, you want to create her result? You might want to do everything she did, right? What would you not want to do that she did? And there it is right above her head in blue, the new health conversation, because I think we need one. And then right above that, free coaching. So if you go to the website, you can scroll down and it says free coaching. You fill that out and you get a free coach the whole time, all the way through maintenance. What am I missing here? What's not like amazing about this? Is any other influence? Well, first of all, I can't find. Can anybody show me an influencer that they're following that's showing you even one peer-reviewed human trial study about what they're claiming? They're nice people. I see medical doctors and chiropractors and dietitians and nutritionists and workout people and weight loss coaches and health coaches. It's all nonsense. I mean, when we're looking at Medicare saying, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments, diets are not the answer. Medicare's researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether any diet, including calorie restriction, is an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed across the board, 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Who of you think that the diet you're on is going to work long term? I'd love to know who it is. Compared to that, 60 pounds. Look at this. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months and she's kept it off for 8 years. Hi, I joined you live earlier today. I asked you if this is okay. Oh, absolutely, Andy. 100% okay for children. As young as 2, believe it or not. And up to, well, the oldest person we have right now is 91. But children, absolutely. Wow, it's kind of late for you. It's like midnight, isn't it, Andy? Am I right? We got a lot of people in UK, Ireland. We got people in France. We got we don't distribute anything, but the researchers, if they have, there are areas like they're not, for example, in South America. Sorry, but they are all over the EU. So if you're in the UK, you're great. I think your viewers would like to hear about this. You're talking about for children, just clarify. I just want to make sure what they might want to hear about, because I have a lot of subject that I can go over, obviously. So Andy, just clarify. You're talking about for children? Hey, Rory, Tori, Divine in, hello. Yes, the children. Okay, so let me talk about children for a moment. So let me go even deeper for you, Andy. My youngest son, my youngest grandson is 5 years old. And literally when his mom stopped breastfeeding at about 14 or 15 months, he went on part of this, obviously a really scaled down version of it. So he's been on this now for what, 3.5 or 4 years. I urge my son sometimes, if we just bring him on a TikTok, you've never seen a 5-year-old like this. He's literally, my son lives in Costa Rica. At 5 years old, he is surfing. When I'm surfing, I'm talking about paddling out, ducking under the waves, getting up and riding into the shore. He skateboards. The first time he got on a bicycle, no training wheels, he jumped on the bike and just started riding it. I mean, this kid, because here's the thing. Why would it be so good for children? Because the thing that especially a child needs, you're never going to grow that fast. So if you can give them huge amounts of nutrition in the smallest food possible, they're going to thrive. It's everything there, because everything is growing so fast in them. So obviously, if you could give them these huge amounts of nutrition in the smallest, because they can't eat 3 steaks, for example, right? So that's the thing that's so significant about it. It's the amount of nutrition that you can get in their body in a small quantity, whether they're 2 years old or 3 years. I mean, I would say most of the time, kids probably start around, once they start eating solid food, 18 months to 2 years. Just to let you know, Andy, that's about where it is. But in this case, my son, who is actually he teaches all the coaches how to coach. He's very much in tune. I guess I'm going to show all of you now. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to show you what happens when you exercise, because none of these people exercise. Wait till you see this. So day 1, everybody, look at that. Really pretty good shape. Now, when it says day 5, that's 4 days in. Look at the stomach area. And then day 12, that's 11 days in. Look at that transformation. That is my son. He's 40 years old. Do you think this works? You think this is a diet? Look at that. I wish I looked like that. I don't. But again, he's so much into this, and his son begs for the shakes. Because once their body realizes he's not craving candy bars, he's craving the food that's available to them. So it's really, really wonderful. It really is. So again, everybody, I'm going to switch back now one last time. If you're interested in really seeing the medical proof and more answers and more questions answered. They're at that website. When people say, I want more information, it's on the website pretty much. But in addition to that, you have the opportunity to get a free coach. That's not a gimmick. You're not paying anything to get coaching. It's completely free because you've never done this before. But people come on here all the time and say, how much is the coaching? Oh my gosh, no, it's free. We were coached. I mean, imagine if you could join a gym and they give you a free trainer, would you do it or turn it down? I hope you do it. So who else would like to ask me a question? Andy, so does that make sense, Andy? It's about the amount of nutrition we can get into their bodies in the least amount of food because they can't eat as much as an adult. Or if they do, they're going to be overweight kids, of which in the United States, Andy, about 50% of our kids now are overweight. It's a travesty. And a third of them are either type 2 diabetic or type 2 diabetics, which 35 years ago in children, I don't know if you knew that or not, Andy, but type 2 diabetes didn't even exist in children until, well, maybe the last 25 years. So this is a health crisis along with just being overweight. Good. And Andy, you know to go to the website, right? It's right there. Everybody, there's the website, right? In plain view, the New Health Conversation. If you go there, we're not going to contact you. But you're going to get so many of your questions answered. We have nothing to hide. We only have everything to show you. And then you get a free coach if you want to do that, okay? All right, everybody, I'm going to sign off now because I really do have to go. But I'll probably come on tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. Is it Tuesday tomorrow? Wow. Well, in the United States, it's 6:16 today, so yeah, I guess. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to let you all go now, and we'll talk tomorrow about 11:30 Eastern Time. I'll come on live. All right? Thank you very much, everybody.